What's up, YouTube? Tim is here. Here is my throwback segment where I talk about the films that turns 10, 20, and 30 this week. All right. The films celebrating their 10th anniversary. Wow, this is a really good one. We got Guillermo del Toro's directed Pacific Rim. Now, of course, this was directed by Guillermo del Toro, and it's set in the future where Earth is at war with the kaiju and colossal sea monsters, which have also emerged from a interdimensional portal here. And humans unite to create the Jaggers, which is of course this gigantic humanoid machines. It's definitely a play on like the classic Godzilla films and stuff like that. Now, the first Pacific Rim is good. Really entertaining. See Guillermo del Toro direct like the sci-fi epic was really cool. But a couple years after they thought it was a good idea to give us a sequel, which I was actually interested in a sequel, but that Pacific Rim Uprising, that was terrible. But the first film was really good. Really cool action. Definitely feel like a live action anime at times. Of course, they did do a TV show as well, which was not so bad either. So yeah, if you guys have not really seen the original Pacific Rim, do yourself a favor, go watch it. I would not recommend the sequel because yeah. And also you had Rob Perlman was in this, Idris Elba, Charlie Hunnam, uh, Charlie Day. Really cool seeing Charlie Day in this. So really fun flick. All right, also turning 10. This is gonna be unpopular to say, but we of course got Grown Ups 2. The follow-up to 2010's Grown Ups, which I love that first Grown Ups film. Seeing the likes of Adam Sandler with his buddies such as Chris Rock, David Spade, Rob Schneider was in the first one, Kevin James, and then of course we get you the sequel, which unpopular opinion, I like the first film. I prefer the sequel over the first film. I'm sorry. I really had a fun time with Grown Ups too. This time around, it follows like Lenny who moves his family to his old hometown. And of course, while spending time with his old friends, he and his companions must soon face bizarre situations. And of course, you got Ted Lautner who kind of plays the villain in this here. You had some really good cast members. You had the late the late Disney actor Cameron Boyce was in this. R.I.P. You also had some like Ted Lautner was great in this. David Henry from Wizards of Waverly Place fame. Patrick Schwarzenegger was in this. Who else was in this one? Obviously, the returning cast members like Sam Hayek. You had Steve Buscemi returning. Uh, boy, there's a lot of really cool people in this. Lots of Disney stars. Um, I really had a fun time growing up. Shit, like of course the end scene, probably one of the most funniest fight scenes of that year. I thought that was really fun to watch. So yeah, I mean, I know this is gonna be unpopular to say because the Girls movies, let's refer like other Adam Sandler films, are not that popular. I mean, of course, you don't have Rob Schneider in this. He was actually replaced by Nick Swartzen. Um, but I still enjoy Grown Ups too. Let me see some Grown Ups 2 Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, like the film did not really do really well to critics. Grown Ups 2 Rotten. Yeah, it only has like 8%, which hey, whatever. But I still enjoy Grown Ups too. If you guys ever seen it or even the first Grown Ups, give them a go. I want to see a third one. Probably won't be the same without camera boys, but I think a third one will be great. Will be really cool to see. All right, and we also got some smaller stuff like we got VHS Part Two, which is of course presented as an anthology short film, villain should narrative here, and some of the directors who directed the sequel include the likes of Jason Eisner, Gareth Evans, who of course gave us The Raid, uh, the guy who recently just gave us Jeepers Creepers Reborn. He was one of the directors. Us. I really quite like the VHS movies. They are really cool. They are creepy. They get pretty bloody. So really good flick. You know what? Out of all the films here, the one I probably enjoy even most on this list might be Fruitvale Station. Now, Fruitvale Station, if you guys don't know, um, was the directorial debut by Ryan Coogler, who, if you guys don't know, did gave us Creed, and he also gave us Black Panther. And of course, you had Michael B. Jordan in this, and it is Coogler's feature directorial debut, and it's based on the events leading up to the death of Oscar Grant, a young man who was killed in 2009 by Bay Area Rapid Transit police officer at the Fruitvale District Station in Oakland. You, of course, had Michael B. Jordan, Octavia Spencer, Chad Montgomery, Melanie Diaz. This is a terrific film. I mean, how did Michael B. Jordan? I can say this was actually the movie that really put Michael B. Jordan on the map. Of course, beforehand, he did do stuff like Friday Night Lights, The Wire, Chronica, but this was actually his breakout performance, and he crushed it. I still cannot understand how he did not get any Oscar love. I think he did got like Independent Spirit Award and everything, but it, of course, this was a nice relationship between Cougar and Michael B. Jordan, who obviously were going to work together on the likes of Creed, Black Panther, even Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which, spoiler alert, Michael B. Jordan was in that. So, yeah, if you guys never see Fruitvale Station, do yourself a favor, go watch it. It is a really terrific one. Oh, and another film that also turns 10, which I actually saw in theaters one time, Pawn Shop Chronicles. This was directed by Wayne Kramer, who directed the Paul Walker movie Running Scared. And you had the likes of Paul Walker, Matt Dillon, Brendan Fraser, Vincent D'Onofrio, Norma Reedus, Chai McBride. Actually, Simpson was in this. And it's a very interesting dark comedy that tells us three overlapping stories involving items found within a said pawn shop. And this was actually one of Paul Walker's final films because this actually got released on the same year that Paul Walker passed away. But this got released in July. About this movie was released like about 4 or 5 months before his passing. And of course, at the same time, he also did Fast and Furious Part 6 as well. Paul Walker was great in this. You also had other new guys star. DJ Qualls was in this movie. It is so awesome. Brendan Fraser playing like an Elvis impersonator was really cool. Just think about Brendan Fraser plays an Elvis impersonator in this. And of course, he got nominated for and won an Oscar, and he was actually up against Austin Butler, who of course played Elvis. So I found that to be pretty funny. That aside, very underrated film if you guys never seen it. I mean, it's not really like a big time film, but I remember watching this one at AMC Empire 25 here in Times Square back in 2013, and I had a fun time with it. Very good looking. All right. Now turning 20, you guys are not going to believe this one. Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl. Pretty much a film that brought the Pirates of the Caribbean to pretty much start all with Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. I mean, I remember when this was released. I was very young at the time, but I remember when they were announcing this. I'm like, really? You're gonna do like a film based on this theme park attraction? Okay. And of course, it was directed by. Gore Verbinski, who also directed Johnny Depp in The Lone Ranger, Ringo. And of course, you had Keira Knightley, you had Orlando Bloom, Jeffrey Rush was great in this. The first Pirates of the Caribbean movie is really entertaining. Definitely has some really fun comedic elements. Johnny Depp, I believe Johnny Depp got an Oscar nomination for this, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong there. But yeah, the first one was great. Then, of course, we would go on to get a couple of other sequels. Some okay, some good, some not so great. And there has been rumors about possibly Johnny Depp might be returning as Jack Sparrow again in the future. Who knows if that's ever going to happen, but we'll see. All right. Oh, boy. Also turning 20. Oh, boy. We got The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is loosely based on the comic book series of the same name by Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill. Of course, you had a really good cast that included the late great Sean Connery, who, by the way, If you guys don't know, Sean Connery actually dropped out. If you guys don't know the story, Sean Connery was originally going to play Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, right? This was the reason why he did not play Gandalf. He dropped out of Gandalf to do League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And pretty much this movie also made Sean Connery retire. uh, you also had the likes of Jason West, Shane West, I meant, not Jason West, Jason Fleming, Richard Roxburgh. And if you guys don't know much about the story here, it is based on like the film features prominent crossover themes set in 19th century, and it features like an assortment of fictional literary characters such as the likes of Oscar Wilde, H. G. Wells, Jules Verne, Bram Stoker, and and honestly, just let's be for real. So, some it has some really cool cast members. Like obviously got Sean Connery. This is maybe, let's put it this way. This is one of the worst motion pictures to ever get released. It's one of the worst comic book adaptations. I mean, why did Sean Connery drop out of playing Gandalf? Shoot, for this is beyond me. But hey, it is what it is, I guess. Um, but yeah, this it was just god awful. And of course, if you guys know, Hulu is actually set to reboot this as I think a series or something like that. So maybe that could work better. But yeah, this was garbage. Anyway, also turning 20, we got Veronica Guerlin, which is a biographical drama directed by Joe Schumacher, who of course directed the movie Phone Booth, which also turned 20 this year. He did two of the Batman movies, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. What else did he do? Oh yeah, he did The Lost Boys. He's done some hits and misses. Now, if you guys don't know much about this story here, it stars Kate Blanchett, and and the film, of course, focuses on journalist Veronica Guerlin, whose investigation into the drug trade in Dublin led to her murder in 1996 at the age of 37. It is really true. Kate Blanchett is great in this. Who else was in this film? Who else was in this? Veronica. Besides Kate Blanchett, other cast members. Been a while since I've seen this movie. You also had Sarah Hines, Colin Farrell, Brenda Fricker, who of course played the Pigeon Lady in Home Alone 2. You had some really good cast members in this. Kate Blanchett, I thought was terrific. Obviously, she's Kate Blanchett; she's always great. So yeah, really decent flick if you guys haven't seen it. I don't really know that this is based on a true story. It's crazy to believe that this actually happened. All right, now the film celebrating 30th, the 30th anniversary. We of course got Rookie of the Year, which is of course a baseball comedy. When an accident miraculously gives a boy an incredibly powerful pitching arm, he becomes a major league pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. Now, this movie is actually directed by Dennis Stern, who, of course, speaking of Home Alone, he is best known for playing Bob in the Home Alone movies. Obviously, he's been some other stuff too, like the Wonder Years he was in. And this movie also stars Thomas Ian Nicholas, who, if you guys don't know, this is actually his breakout role, but he would go on to play the role of Kevin in the American Pie movies, who of course ends up with Tara Reid. And you also had other folks like Bruce Altman, Eddie Bracken. You also had John Candy having a role in this, Neil Flynn from The Middle fame. Rookie of the Year is a really decent baseball flag. Definitely in Thomas and Nicholas, I thought was really good in this. Definitely had a really cool sports energy here. I mean, of course, the '90s was. I believe this was Disney, if I'm not mistaken, and there was lots of really cool, you know, there's lots of really cool sport movies from the '90s. Whether you talk about Rudy, whether you're talking about what else? Other good ones. Mighty Ducks. Like '90s was a great time to be like. Granted, I'm not a sports guy, despite me working at Yankee Stadium as a security guard. But I do love a good sports film, and this is actually a pretty fun one. So if you guys haven't really seen Rookie of the Year, do yourself a favor, go watch it. It is a really fun flick. All right. Also shining dirty, we got the Clint Eastwood film In the Line of Fire. Now, this was directed by Wolfgang Pearson, who also directed stuff like The Never Ending Story, The Perfect Storm, Troy, and it stars Clint Eastwood, John Malkovich, and Rene Russo. And the film is about delusion, an obsessed former CIA agent who attempts to assassinate the president of the U.S. And the Secret Service agent who attracts him. And this also had like Dylan McDermott, Gary Cole, John Mahoney, Fred Dalton Thompson. It is a really fun, nice action flick. Clint Eastwood, who I don't know how old he was at the time. Was he like maybe in his 50s or 60s at the time? He still has it. The guy's literally in his 90s and already still directing. God bless him. You got some really good, fun cast members in this one too. It is a really fun flick. If you guys ever seen that? All right. Now turning dirty. We got Weekend at Bernie's 2. Now, of course, this is a follow to the classic 1980s comedy of the same name. And it, of course, returned the original stars Andrew McCarthy, Jonathan Silverman, and Terry Kaiser. And this time around, you have the two leads who, after surviving Weekend, escaping with the late Bernie Lomax, the junior, the two, of course, executives return to New York City expecting promotion, and the two are sudden to find that the company suspects some of helping Lomax's embezzle $2 million here. The first film is a comic classic. If you guys never seen Weekend at Bernie's, of course, them just carrying around a Ted guy is horrific. I love Weekend at Bernie's. Boy. I bet no one ever knew there was a sequel. It's always funny how there's always sequels to films that people never even knew had sequels. Like there's actually a Christmas Vacation 2, believe it or not. There's Caddyshack 2, an Airplane 2. That's right, people. Someone thought it was a good idea to give us a Weekend at Bernie's 2. And now, comedy sequels could work, but this one didn't. It did not have that same charm that the original had. It was cool seeing the original two coming back, but even they weren't enough to save it. Even Terry Kaiser in this wasn't. He was also the father in Friday 13th. Jason Takes Manhattan, believe it or not. So there's that too. But yeah, this movie is abysmal. I mean, why did they make this one? Is beyond me, and it got released a couple of years after the first film. So I don't know who was clamoring for another Weekend at Bernie's, but hey, there we have it. But that's pretty much it there. Let me leave you guys. Which of these films stand out to you the most? To me, the 10-year one, either I love Grown Ups 2, I like Pacific Rim, Pawn Shop Chronicles was great. I'm saying Fruitvale Station. That movie is so excellent if you guys haven't seen it. The 20-year one, to me, I'm going to go with the first Pirates of the Caribbean, obviously. And the 30-year one, I'm actually going to go with Rookie of the Year. I've always loved Rookie of the Year. Anyway, drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Simon signing off.